room watching everybody. She come in there like, what's going on? Like I'm like, well, look, these people don't know what they're doing. They could, one wrong move, they could paralyze my wife, kill her, give her meningitis. A million things could go wrong. I said, don't be coming here yelling at us. I want to make sure they wasn't going to kill her. But that was just one night of an incident. Things could go wrong and very quick. It's scary thoughts.
Well, yeah, I can honestly say that. I mean, years and years ago, I used to go to a foot doctor because I tore my tendon in my foot or ankle or whatever it is, foot.
Oh,
yeah, Achilles tendon. And, the doctor, foot doctor, said, well, I want you to come in next week. Well, that week he gave me a cortisone shot in my foot, which really hurt. Then he wanted me in the week. And this went on for like 2-3 months, coming in like every week to get a cortisone shot. And I was talking to a friend of mine who happened to be at that time, he just got done doing his internship and he was opening up his own practice. And I said, I can't handle another cortisone shot in my foot. And he goes, well, how many have you had? I said, I probably had like 24 in the last couple of months. He goes, oh my God, you shouldn't have more than 3 or 4 a year.
Right. Exactly. They were getting paid nice.
Yeah, well, somebody was making money off of it. Certainly wasn't me.
At your expense.
Yeah.
I mean, anything could have went wrong real quick. That stuff's no joke.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. There's so much like that going on there. People don't know or don't realize. I wouldn't have knew either if I hadn't studied up on it and educated myself about it. It blew my mind. It just really did. The things I've heard and seen in hospitals.
Oh yeah. Unfortunately, I have to go quite often because of my health condition. But I tell you, if I had over again, I wouldn't want to go. Now, have you heard about this Russian spy, female? I guess good-looking, kind of dressing, upper class, that kind of mingled with the GOP for a couple years.
No, I haven't heard enough. I just heard a couple things here and there, but I didn't hear. The most I've heard about it is from you just a little bit ago. I haven't heard enough about it, but that's from what I did hear, that's kind of amazing.
Oh yeah, she's made a lot of great connections with the GOP. Everybody thought she was really cool, and she was gathering information, I guess, as being a spy or alleged spy. But
yeah.
But then I had a guest on last night, Mary Joyce, who runs a bulletin board or a website out of North Carolina that is basically a paranormal reporting center. And she said that she met that lady in a paranormal conference back about 2 years ago. So after she told me that, I couldn't go to sleep last night. She was on last night probably about from 8 to 9 Pacific West Coast time. Then I had my other guests. So as soon as I signed off the air, I started, doing research and found out she was involved with a lot of the paranormal groups, mainly getting in conferences and into groups all over Facebook and all that stuff in UFO groups.
Huh.
And here is...
I'm going to have to look into that and get her name and check into that more. You got me intrigued now.
Well, it kind of makes me wonder. Here she's, kind of working for the Russian government to get into the GOP. And then I find it strange. Why would they have her get into paranormal groups and get involved into them, and especially UFO groups? I'm trying to figure out why that would have even Russian ties there. And I'm waiting for that to really start hitting the news on that part of it.
Yeah, I'm sure there's some hidden agendas there somewhere. That's for sure.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah,
I know that in Russia, along with Brazil and Chile and all these countries, when they have a sighting of a UFO, the government admits that we had a sighting today. One of our pilots.
Especially I know South American countries there for some of them, like you mentioned. Yeah, I have to agree with you on that one.
Well, even Russia is. I'm just kind of wondering, if there is aliens and UFOs and stuff. I'm just wondering the way things are going, how Russia has got into our political system. I mean, the election, Facebook, for a fact, was pretty much all corrupt with Russian, influencing, about Hillary and about Trump back and forth. to confuse people. This makes me wonder, maybe they're going to force our government here eventually to open up about the UFO situation by maybe announcing, to the world, like Russia, maybe announcing, yes, UFOs exist. Why doesn't America tell their citizens that UFOs exist?
Well, one of the greatest tactics ever is distract them over here while you're doing something over there. So if they, distract us with, politicians or whatever, or, you distract the crowd over here with something while you're doing your work over there, so they don't know. Then you set them up for the woo woo, so to speak, like you're saying.
Oh
exactly.
Yeah. So I got to ask you a question. You've been into, I guess, for the last 10 years or so into the paranormal.
I've been into it about 30 years, actually.
Okay, well, that's right. I'm getting old and I forget about those things.
No, that's all right. But yeah, more so. First 10 years, I started like in 80. Well, I studied demonology, kind of paranormal stuff from about 84 right on up to 88. Then I started doing like weekends. I would do investigations, and I did mostly by myself for good 10, 12 years, and yeah, I was into it. But it was different then. It's not like now. It was way on the down low and hush hush, and it was different. And but yeah, I've been into it, but more so. But then in the 90s, I tapered off some because I got married and had a kid, so I had to think about safety reasons, not bringing something home and all that kind of stuff, not jeopardize. But I still did it, but not as much. And then come the 2000s, picked it up a little more, and then more. Then probably last 10 years, way more heavier. So,
wow. So I got to ask you, James. Okay, I see you doing your show on Facebook Live.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen everyone, but I occasionally see you doing a show. What got you to doing a paranormal show on Facebook Live?
Well, my whole premise to even get started on doing that was, back in '92, an event happened in my life that affected 4 people. And it's the root to what I do today, helping people with paranormal problems. That's my main thing, to help people with paranormal problems. And one of the tools and outlets that I really thought I could use to help people was with my show, because everybody that's on my show is either an investigator or a medium or a psychic or some ties to the paranormal. And with their experiences and things, if just one word or one experience could help just one person out of 1,000 or so that listen to my show could help them, then it's worth it. It's worth it. I use it as a tool to hopefully help somebody out there. Something may resonate with somebody and say, oh, you know what, they did the same thing, that they did this, boom, that it could help them. That's my premise. That's why I do it.
So I got to ask you a question, and I got in trouble with this. I've been in commercial broadcasting off and on since the mid-'70s. And my very first, out of broadcasting radio school, back in 76, my very first job was near Battleground, Washington. And they hired me. They first hired me to do Top 40, but somehow the ownership of the station kind of changed, or the manager, the program manager changed, and they went from Top 40 to talk radio. So here I, moved up there, and they, got me in the room, and they said, well, what type of show do you want to do? And I said, well, I'm here to do Top 40. Oh, no, we're not doing that. We're doing talk radio. I said, okay, you want me to talk political? And they go, no. In our area, there's been some abductions from some of occult groups around the area. So we want you to do a kind of like a paranormal show. And that was my first involvement doing a talk show. It was in kind of a loose paranormal radio show, talking about witchcraft, Ouija boards, occults, missing people and stuff like that. And, go ahead.
So basically it's like when you was a kid, because I know you're close to my generation, when you're a kid and you want to learn how to swim, your parents just throw you in the deep end. So they just pretty much threw you in there.
Oh, yeah. And in fact, it was so bad, honestly, what happened Here, they sat me in the control room when it was time to go on. The station manager, says, "Hey, I got to leave. I'm going to Reno with my wife." And I said, "Well, who else is here?" "Oh, the secretary is here right now, and another secretary in the other room."
Who's the producer and the director? The secretary.
Yeah, and everybody else already left for the day. And, it was like, well, you're the last. The last person was playing top 40. And when I went on, that was their switch from going from a top 40, like the Bee Gees and all that stuff, going over to talk radio. Now, here I just...
They left you the keys of the building, so here it goes.
Yeah, well, you talk about sweating bullets. I mean, here I was all prepared because I went to, 6 months of broadcast training to learn how to be a DJ, like 95 KJR or, 85 or 95 KJR and do that type of thing, right? All of a sudden, I'm having to do a talk show in my very early 20s. And I tell you, when that song was over and I was watching that BG record go spinning on the 45, and it get almost to the end, I mean, I thought I was going to have a heart attack.
I was just going to say your anxiety level must have been through the roof.
Yeah, I wish I would have kept the tape, but I think I was so embarrassed at the time because we used to record ourselves. I think I threw that one away because it was so bad. But, it kind of grew from there, and, I got into...
And look where you're at now.
Yeah, and then it got me into doing talk radio, and I did talk radio on quite a few different radio stations through the years, off and on. But the only talk show I really ever hated, it was a show called Loveline, where people would call up, and you would connect two people that didn't know each other. And at that time, it was male-female. And, you'd hook them up for go out on a date. And, I'm going, oh, wow, I don't know if I want to do broadcasting anymore. But...
Poor guy.
But now, and I'm saying all this because I want to know what got you into doing a live Facebook talk show. What got you motivated to do it?
To help people got me motivated, and I also, I'm in the works of writing I'm going to write a book. I'm going to write a book of books, a solution to all problems. I'm going to write a go-to. It's in the works, but I just really want to help people with paranormal problems because I've seen what these things can do, and the thing is, I look back, man, I've got 30 years of experience in this stuff. There's not much I haven't seen or did, so I can use that knowledge to help somebody. It's like my call. I need to do it. That's what I need to do. And as far as the talk show, I love interviewing people. I love talking to new people in the field because the thing about the paranormal, there's more than one way to skin a cat, and there's no one wrong way or right way. And I like to hear everybody's different ways of doing things, and along the way, there's something that may resonate with somebody that may help somebody. And I love learning different things and different methods, and that's what that's what it's all about. If we can all get together and share our experiences and what we know, we're learning from each other, and as a whole, we can help people more better as a whole. So, yeah, and I love doing the talk show thing. I love it. I wish I could do it more often, but you just never know Facebook when they do an update and then you can't add people to your show and stuff. What I went through for a month, so you never know.
Oh, I found Facebook has really, in the past years, really been making a lot of changes, which is good for, I guess, for them, maybe bad for the user or people doing what you do on Facebook. Because what I found out, when I first started the show back in September on, internet, I used Facebook, to connect with, people, to build up a listenership naturally. At the start, I could, post bulletin board or bulletins up on different groups, right?
Yeah.
But when you go as they classify my show as a business, they got an idea behind that. Well, why should they be letting me post a post about my talk show, who my guest is that night? So, and I didn't even believe it at the start, but a friend of mine who runs a biker radio network, which he has like 100,000 users for his radio show, which is 24/7, by the way. they all of a sudden started charging him